Welcome to this important update on the 2026 CPA exam changes. If you're planning to take the CPA exam or are currently studying, you need to know about these updates. Today we'll walk through exactly what's changing, what's staying the same, and most importantly, how these changes affect your study strategy. Let's dive into what you need to know to stay on track for exam success. First, some good news. The overall structure of the CPA exam remains exactly the same under the CPA evolution format. You'll still need to pass 3 core sections: auditing and attestation, financial accounting and reporting, and regulation. These are required for all candidates. Then you'll choose one discipline section based on your career path: business analysis and reporting, information systems and controls, or tax, compliance, and planning. The format hasn't changed either. Each section is still 4 hours long with the same mix of multiple choice questions and task-based simulations. The skill levels tested remain consistent: remembering and understanding, application, analysis, and evaluation. So what actually changed in 2026? These are minor but important content updates that reflect current regulations. The changes focus on exam content, not structure or format. The updates reflect the latest changes in the professional landscape, including new regulations and laws. Most notably, provisions from H.R. 1, known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, have been added to tax sections. There are updated standards with new references to quality management and SOC guidelines. Finally, scope clarifications have refined tasks and topics to better define what's actually tested. Think of this as the 2026 Blueprint Refinement Update. Let's look at the AUD section updates, which focus on quality management standards. The content areas remain unchanged. Ethics and professional responsibilities make up 15 to 25%. Assessing risk is 25 to 35%. Further procedures account for 30 to 40%, and reporting is 10 to 20%. The 2026 Blueprint brings 4 key changes. Quality management standards references have been updated to reflect new AICPA standards. There's enhanced emphasis on entity-level controls within risk assessment tasks. Specific examples have been added for tasks related to assessing fraud risk, and it's been clarified that inputs for accounting estimates include both methods and data. For the FAR section, the 2026 refinements focus on fair value measurement clarity and scope updates. Content areas stay the same. Financial reporting is 30 to 40%, select balance sheet accounts are 30 to 40%, and select transactions make up 25 to 35%. Here are the specific updates. The outdated AICPA practice aid on cash and tax basis financial statements has been removed. Representative tasks for statement of activities have been revised to better define testing scope. Examples for financial statement ratios and performance metrics have been updated. The major clarification involves fair value measurement under FASB Topic 820. Tasks have been restructured to clearly distinguish scope between FAR and BAR, preventing overlap and clarifying which concepts are tested in the core versus discipline section. The REG section updates cover new tax law provisions and H.R. 1. Content areas remain unchanged. Area 1, ethics and professional responsibilities, is 10 to 20%. Area 2, business law, is 15 to 25%. Area 3, federal taxation of property, is 5 to 15%. Area 4, federal taxation of individuals, is 22 to 32%. And Area 5, federal taxation of entities, is 23 to 33%. The major update involves H.R. 1, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. New provisions have been added for additional deductions in AGI and taxable income calculations. Here are the key dates. July 1st, 2026 is when provisions with 2024 to 2020 effective dates become eligible for testing. June 30th, 2026 is the last day to test provisions scheduled to sunset in 2025. The standard rule is that other provisions are testable 6 months after their effective date. There are also scope clarifications for cost recovery tasks covering depreciation, and amortization. The bar discipline updates focus on fair value coordination with VAR. Content areas include business analysis at 40 to 50%, technical accounting at 35 to 45%, and state and local government at 10 to 20%. 3 key updates stand out. Fair value restructuring means tasks have been restructured to clearly coordinate with the FAR section, preventing overlap. For FASB Topic 820 scope, there's now a clearer definition of which fair value concepts are tested in BAR versus FAR. Investment alternatives have been updated with additional examples to clarify testing depth and application. The coordination between FAR and BAR sections is designed specifically to avoid content overlap. ISC discipline updates bring a technology standards refresh. Unchanged areas include information systems and data management at 35 to 45%, security, confidentiality and privacy at 35 to 45%, and SOC engagement considerations at 15 to 25%. 6 specific updates have been made. SOC 1 guide references have been updated to reflect the new naming convention. Specific sections defining key HIPAA terms have been added for testable content. The NIST Privacy Framework reference is now version agnostic to allow for future changes. The PCI DSS update incorporates the new version of the Quick Reference Guide. Data analytics has been added to eligible textbook categories for study materials. And change management tasks have been expanded with additional examples and clarifications. TCP discipline updates address tax law changes and scope reduction. Content areas are individual tax and financial planning at 30 to 40%, entity tax compliance at 30 to 40%, entity tax planning at 10 to 20%, and property transactions at 10 to 20%. 2 major changes stand out. First, HR1 provisions have been added, incorporating One Big Beautiful Bill Act provisions for additional deductions in AGI and taxable income calculations. Testing begins July 1st, 2026, the same timeline as REACH. Second, and this is important, international tax issues have been removed from Area 2 and are no longer eligible for testing in the TCP section. Don't waste time studying international tax for TCP. Let's discuss strategic implications and what these changes mean for your study plan. The critical action is to verify your study materials. Before starting, confirm your review course has been updated for the 2026 blueprint. Studying outdated content is the biggest risk. For Reg and TCP, master HR1 provisions by paying special attention to new tax deductions and knowing the effective dates for testing eligibility. For FAR and BAR, understand the fair value division and scope split for FASB Topic 820 to avoid gaps or redundant studying. For AUD, focus on entity-level controls with enhanced emphasis on quality management standards. And for TCP only, skip international tax since these issues have been removed. Here's your timeline and strategy for critical 2026 exam planning dates. June 30th, 2026 is the sunset deadline, the last day to test provisions scheduled to expire in 2025. July 1st, 2026 is HR1 activation, when provisions with 2024 to 2025 effective dates become testable. On a rolling basis, the 6-month rule states other provisions are testable 6 months after their effective date. For AirReg and TCP timing strategy, before July 1st, there are fewer new tax provisions to learn. After July 1st, sunset provisions are removed from scope. Coordinate with materials. Do not schedule your exam before your review course provider has released updated 2026 study materials. Here are your final thoughts and next steps for exam success. First, confirm your study materials are updated for the 2026 blueprint. Second, review specific changes for the sections you plan to take. Third, map your timeline against HR1 tax provision dates. Fourth, focus strictly on in-scope topics and ignore removed content. Fifth, stay connected with CPA Exam Lab for updates. Remember 3 key points. Changes are minor compared to the 2024 evolution. The core exam structure remains consistent, and success still comes from focused, consistent effort. You've got this.